Hi everyone and welcome to another review. So today we are looking at Blackbird's Song, which is the new release from Anastasia Koldareva. So this is a name that you'll have heard plenty of times before. I've reviewed all of her previous books on this channel and her artwork is simply sublime. It's just stunning. So it is female portraits with the inclusion of some animals and other elements, nature, things like that. And it is exactly the same size, shape, format as her previous books. We've got a left-hand side spiral binding and it is one-sided. So let's have a look at the back first of all. It's a simple cardboard backing and it's the same on all of her books. But what this does is it gives you a really sturdy surface for you to lean on when you're colouring. I'm somebody who actually likes to colour on the settee, on my lap, with my feet up, watching telly. I don't sit and colour on my desk very often unless I'm filming. So this is really great for me because I don't have to search around for anything to lean on. All right, let's have a look in the book. So there's no extraneous pages. We just begin on the first illustration. So as I mentioned, there's always lots of nature incorporated in Anastasia's work, and you will see that here. So this looks to me like a pomegranate, but it's probably not. It's probably something like a rose hip or something like that, but you know how rubbish I am with botany. So I'll just show you the beautiful pictures and you can decipher what everything is. So as I said, it's female portraits. There's lots of different ethnicities, hairstyles and things included. So it's an all-rounder. So here we've got some fish. I do know what these fish are called and I've forgotten. But I remember them from Deuce Bigalow. Has anybody seen that film, Deuce Bigalow? Fantastic film. So we've got a male portrait here. Now this is quite unusual. You might have seen a couple of male portraits sort of sprinkled into a few colouring books in the past, but it's not very prevalent to have male subjects in colouring books. But here we've got one and he is stunning, isn't he? And I think he's got a sort of Asian influence to him. Obviously you've got the dragon in the background, so that should help, you know, when you come in to look at what colours to use for skin tone and hair and things like that. But obviously you can just do whatever you want. Beautiful lady here, and I'm not sure what this text means down here. Is it, there's some text on every page, I think I missed that. Oh no, wait, there's none on there. Okay, I'm getting confused. We've got some text down here and I'm not really sure what it means, whether it's the name, the scientific names of the flowers that are on the pages. I don't know. But again, beautiful hairstyles, very, very diverse. This is what my hair looks like at the moment. I had my hair permed a couple of weeks ago, and when it's first been washed and I've used, you know, the curlers on it and stuff, it looks okay. It's very, very tight and ringlety, and I don't like that. I wanted a bit more of a wave. But after the first day, this is what it looks like. This is what I'm looking like right now, talking to you. Just a massive Hagrid frisball. Not to say that she's a Hagrid. But yeah, so this has got Protea on it, and I'm pretty sure that that is a genus or a species of plant or flower. Yeah. This one doesn't have any text either, but this has a very Native American feel to it. So we've got lots of feathers, lots of bling in the hair, and a cool kind of iguana type creature on her head. And in the background, we've got some tents or teepees. Yeah, really cool on that. So this one is a little bit steampunk inspired. We've got some cogs and clocks and wheels and things like that. I really, really love this little sort of headband that's got the tiny little top hat on it. And, you know, owls are quite prevalent in steampunk stuff for some reason. I don't know why. So we've got an owl here and he's kind of attached to her glove. You know, it's one of those kind of owls that you go and see. There's a word, isn't there? Here we go again. There is a word for those places. And yeah, so it's got steampunk costume, lots of belts, buckles, things like that. This one's interesting because it features the Death's Head moth, which is, of course, most known from Silence of the Lambs, or that's how I most know it anyway, being a horror fan. So I was actually thinking about colouring this one first purely because of that inclusion. And again, lots of bling just dripping off of her headdress, very opulent, very regal, beautiful lips and sultry eyes. So I do recognise this one. This is an oak leaf with acorns, and we've got a butterfly here which could be a red admiral.
So it's kind of it's very British, this one, I feel, because oaks and acorns and butterflies seem to just remind me of British woodland and springtime. This says Clivia. Now, I'm just wondering, is this the name of the females, or is it something to do with the plants? I don't know. It doesn't happen on every page, so I'm really not sure. But what we've got here is some seashells loads of seashells. Look at this massive necklace and gorgeous afro hair. And there are some flowers in there as well. Again, I don't know what they are. So this is a side view, a profile view. This kind of gives me Russian vibes, that sort of area. There's loads and loads of gems, and they are quite big gems as well for you to fill in and do the facets and things like that. So if that's something that you're wanting to try, or something that you're proficient in, this is really good for that, because the settings of the gems, not the settings, that's the edge of it, the gems themselves are quite large, so it's giving you lots of space to practice gems. And I do have a few different gemstones that I've done on my website, colourwithclaire.com, if you look under gemstones, but I don't have a tutorial for them because I was following tutorials doing them. So if you go to Vitruvian Art on YouTube, she is absolutely fantastic at doing gemstones with coloured pencil. Have a look. Right, so this one, I'm getting a very exotic, mermaidy, beach theme vibe to it. We've got a huge flower here. It looks like something you'd only find in the jungle, you know, a really sort of uncommon massive bloom, and a little tiny tree frog there. So some of these, as you can see, are centered in the page. They're put inside a border. Hang on, I'm just going to have to do that because, yeah, it's messing me about. Right, so some of them are centered in a border and some of them are full page, and they're all square, so it's not like, you know, it's not like they're contained on an A4 sort of standard letter size book, colouring book. Because they are square, sometimes you get bits that are chopped off, especially with portraits, and that's what happens when you fill a whole page. So some of it does go into the spine, but that's fine really, because you've got the spiral. Yes, it is kind of annoying when you've got detail that goes into the spine like this, because you've got to get in between those spirals. But anyway, stop rambling. So an Oriental inspired one here. Again, we have I'm sure there's a name for these fans as well. Gorgeously decorated fans, and these look like brain fart peonies. I think they're peonies, but again, loads and loads of detail on the costume. So we have another male subject again here, but with a female counterpart this time. This one is beautiful. I really, really, really want to colour this one. This will be the next one that I do when I get around to colouring something from this book again. So we've got, I think, hibiscus in the lady's hair and around the edge of the frame. I'm not sure what this is. Maybe it's the same thing but closed. I don't know. But yeah, again, very exotic, very intimate scene. Really like this one. So we've got what I think is like I don't know if it is a toucan, but it's got that long beak of a toucan. It's some kind of exotic bird anyway. I'm using the word exotic a lot in this book. I think that is a good word to describe it. Loads and loads of braids. I do not envy whoever tries to do this one, because just colouring all of those braids and making them look realistic, if that's what you choose to do, would be a nightmare for me. But beautiful anyway. So here we've got a peacock, and I really like how these images have been composed in a way that sometimes the animals are overlapping the person, and it kind of creates that look of the two eyes together, even though it's not, you know, directly where it should be. It is like an amalgamation of animal and human, humans and nature, things like that, and I really like that. Really strange hair as well. This one is kind of crazy. I mean, this is obviously a huge shell, and it's taking up the entirety of her circumference of her head here, so I don't know where she's got this shell from, but obviously her hair is all wrapped inside it, or, you know, she may be bald and this is just something that she's wearing that's quite elaborate. Definitely makes a statement. This one is again Asian inspired. I'm just trying to see if I can figure out what the flowers are. I don't think I can. These kind of look a little bit like baby's breath, but it's probably not. Gorgeous, gorgeous illustration. So we've got a parrot, and really, really loving this lady, actually. I love everything about it. I love the headdress. I love all of the beads that are coming off of, I think this would be like braided into the hair, but loads and loads of detail. Really love the facial features on this one and the way she's just holding the parrot. I can imagine this being an absolute blast of vibrant colour. Again, another one that I'd like to colour. And this one's really nice as well because we've got a bit of fruit, and I always really enjoy colouring fruit and trying to make it look as realistic as I can. I'm not entirely sure if that, I guess that's supposed to be like a cross section of these here, but I was going to call this an orange, but it's not, is it? Because these are not oranges. It's probably a weird like dragon fruit or something that I don't know what it is, but you'll let me know in the comments, I'm sure. Just making sure that we're centered. Another owl. So I think Anastasia is quite fond of her owls, and loads and loads and loads of feathers. So again, this is going to be one that you're going to have to take your time on and be doing the same thing again and again over the different feathers. There's probably about 100 feathers on this page. Really like the headdress, although the details are teeny tiny. So I can't really see you being able to do much in the way of you know, really hyper detailed gemstones and things because they're quite small. This is an odd one. So we've got beautiful afro hair, but within that hair it almost looks like something that you would find in a coral reef, and I don't know whether that's meant to was meant to be the intention. But we've also got branches with flowers on, which I'm sure you don't find in the coral reef. So I will be interested to know what this represents, whether it's an amalgamation of coral and, you know, whatever else, whatever flower it is. But yeah, odd one that. Oh, here's the one that I did. So this was coloured with initially luminance, but then I realised that the luminance pencils really don't take to this paper, or the paper doesn't take the luminance, whatever. So I did the majority of the skin with luminance, and then I had to go over with some Prismacolor, and that's what I coloured the rest of the image with, Prismacolor. Yeah, so with the luminance, I just don't think that the paper wanted to take more than one layer, and it was being very, it gave that kind of really bitty texture where it just didn't want to layer up. And I thought, well, if it does it with luminance, it's probably going to do it with Prismacolor because they're both really soft, buttery wax leads. But it didn't. Prismas worked beautifully on it. They blended beautifully. It's just the luminance didn't want to play. So majority done with Prismacolor, and I used one of the paints, one of the gold paints by KJ Design by Karen, which if you follow me on social media recently, you'll know that I did a very special collaboration with Karen and her paints, and also Claire Holloway. I adore her paints. You're never ever gonna probably get through a conversation with me without her paints coming up because I just love them. And you can see why. They're really, really opaque. They're super metallic, super shiny. And I think the gold just set off this colour palette really well. So I decided to attempt fur on this Anubis character. And I don't really know why I did that. I made my life harder for myself because Anubis is actually quite smooth. Like, you don't really, when you look at pictures, you don't really see a lot of texture or fur on him. He's very, very smooth, almost like he's been shaven and it's black skin rather than fur. So I don't know why, being someone that hates doing fur, I did this to myself, but I just did it furry. And you know what? I actually quite like it, even if it's not realistic to Anubis. I think it turned out all right. I don't know. Let me know what you think. So I wanted to keep the colour palette really limited on this because I believe that keeping colours, you know, quite limited, the number of colours that you use on one piece really serves to keep it cohesive and put together, and it gives the eye something really interesting to look at rather than loads of different colours on a page and you just don't know what to look at and what's, you know what I mean. So that's what I tried to do with this, simply red, blue and gold, and you know, the skin tone and the fur. So I would definitely recommend trying that if you're worried about what to do with the page. Just stick to a few simple colours. I think that the blues in the prismas I used here was the peacock blue, true blue and non-photo blue, and then the reds would have been Crimson Lake, permanent red, and I think I used a little bit of, what did I use for that really light one? No, it wasn't. It was Crimson Lake,
carmine red, and then I think I used an old Charisma colour, very light orange that I had, so it's not available anymore. But yeah, so that's what I did if you want to copy along. So a third male figure in this book, really enjoying how she's included lots of males. This is a really weird bug. They call it a leaf bug? I think they do, because it sort of like camouflages itself into leaves, and I don't know, maybe this guy's attempting camouflage with all these leaves. I don't know. I can't really figure out what his intentions are. But yeah, he's cool. This one's really nice. This reminds me of that National Geographic cover portrait of that girl with the really piercing eyes. Can imagine that looking fantastic, again with very limited colours and maybe some blue eyes just popping out. And yeah, so you've got what looks like a tiger, I think, or hang on a minute, it's got spots, so it could be a leopard. It's got spots and stripes. I don't know, it's some kind of big cat, so you can practice your fur with that. This is an interesting hairstyle. So these look like dreads, and then they kind of all finish with these pom-pom afro type looking bits of hair. Maybe it's a very common hairstyle in this kind of culture. I have no idea. I'm very ignorant to stuff like that. I wish I knew more about cultures, and I really should educate myself a lot more. But yeah, really interesting haircuts and hairstyles. And I think if that's what you're looking for, if you're looking for portraits that aren't just your usual flowing hair or a braid, come to Anastasia's books, because she always delivers with the unusual hairstyles. So again, really love these coins. It gives me, I don't want to say like Tibetan or Aztec or something kind of feel, but that's what I'm getting. I'm getting something like that from it. Again, I'm not really sure what culture this is representing. This one's interesting. So it looks as though she's got like a headscarf on, because it comes down here over her face and ears, but then her hair kind of comes out of the sides as braids and then wraps around. It's really fun. And she's also got a lantern hanging from her braids, so there's got to be some real good structure and scaffolding under here to keep that hair strong enough to hold a lamp. But yeah, that's the last one in the book. So there's quite a few illustrations there, isn't there? I haven't actually counted how many there is, should have done that. But you get a lot of bang for your buck with an Anastasia book. So it really is worth buying if you are into colouring your portraiture. You'll also get a sweet little calendar for 2022 with this, featuring the cover art for Blackbird's Song. I'm not sure whether anything else came with it. My desk is such a mess. I can't remember if there was sometimes illustrators will include like a little colouring card or something, or a print, but I can't remember, sorry. I will leave I will leave details of where you can buy this book in the description below, so go ahead if you like it, treat yourself for Christmas. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you very soon on Colour with Claire.